Am I the asshole for laughing out loud when my husband told me his friends thinks he's the perfect husband? My husband was all smiles and encouraged when he told me that his friends at church told him they were talking about how he's the perfect husband. I immediately laughed and noticed that he was offended by that. I then started to tell him how I believe he is an amazing husband and I wouldn't want to be married to anybody else, but I know the good, bad, and ugly, so perfect is not how I would describe you. I could tell he was still not pleased. I told him my reaction was the same way he laughs and thinks if only you knew when someone tells him that I must be an angel and they can't see me getting upset because he sees me when I'm upset often. I learned that he expected me to be happy for him and think that it's awesome that his friends think so highly of him. Even when I challenged that I know you best as a husband because I'm married to you, he told me his friends know him better because I tell them things I don't tell you. He also shared he didn't think they literally meant perfect in the sense of having zero flaws, but his interpretation was they thought him to be a high-quality, role model husband. When they gave him the compliment, he simply said thank you and said he wanted to ask them later about why they think that. He said his friends actually know him better than you do? That he tells them things he doesn't tell you. I would be more upset about that, to be honest. Your partner in life should probably know more about you than anyone. Closest competition would be, like, your partner's parents. But friends knowing them better than you? What a weird thing to say. So wait, he can laugh when outside people tell him they think you're an angel, but you can't laugh when his friends say he's the perfect husband. Not the asshole. I'd call bullshit on the line about his friends knowing him better than you know him. I don't even know why he thinks that makes any sense, unless he deliberately pretends to be a different person with you and is only himself around them. I would honestly be more annoyed he said that than anything else. You can be right and still rude. I mean, of course the argument devolved into weird squabbling because it started with both of you digging in too much. He got a nice compliment and wanted to share. It's really that simple. You made it not that simple by popping his satisfaction. Then he made even worse by saying stupid shit out of his stupid mouth. Honestly, back all the way up, both of you. Lord have mercy. Is what you said true? That he's not perfect? Yes, because newsflash, nobody is perfect. He knows that too. The question is not whether or not what you said is true. The question is why did you choose that moment to tell the truth in a way that would bring his mood down? Of course it hurt his feelings. Everyone sucks here, I mean. I get why he doesn't like you laughing at the compliment. It can imply that you don't think he's a good husband. However, his rebuttal of that his friends know him better is laughable because the compliment is about being a husband and I assume he isn't married to his friends. It seems like a cheap shot, to be honest. His friends know him better than you? Why didn't he marry one of them? Not the asshole for telling the truth. His big head needs deflating. Am I the asshole for changing my mind about letting my girlfriend name our son? My girlfriend is currently pregnant with our first child, which we recently learned was a boy. Before we knew the gender, we made a deal that if it was a girl, I would choose name, and if it was a boy, she would pick. That was before I realized that I hated every single name on her list. Especially the two that she was leaning toward the most, Elian and Gawain, after the Knights of the Round Table. One thing about her is that she has always been into fantasy and mythology, especially the Arthurian legends, and she expressed that she has always loved both of these names. Even though I didn't like her choices, I figure we didn't even know the gender yet, so there was no point at bringing it up. Unfortunately, it turned out to be a boy. Not because I didn't want a boy, but because I didn't want to have this conversation. I was hoping that she would change her mind and pick a better name, but no. She decided on Elian, which I guess is better than Gawain. But I still hate it. It sounds like a douchebag in a teen movie that they were trying way too hard to give a unique name. I asked her if she had any normal names that we would both be happy with. She asked me what was wrong with the name she chose, and I brought up the above-mentioned concern. She got upset and told me that we had an agreement and she would have accepted any name I chose, even though she didn't like any of them either. Now she'll barely talk to me. I've apologized for being so harsh about it, but I would at least like a say in the matter. I even mentioned another name that was on her list that I didn't hate as much, Leon, but she won't budge. I honestly don't think it's unreasonable for me to want to have a say in my own son's name, but everyone I've talked to said that they actually really like the name and it's not fair for me to go back on our deal. So am I the asshole? Edit. Okay. Yes, making that deal was stupid and we shouldn't have done it in the first place. And yes, asking her to pick a normal name was a shit thing to say. I'm going to sit down and have an actual conversation with her about it and see if we can come to some kind of an agreement. And for those asking, it's pronounced Ellie-on, but sometimes when she says it, it comes out Ellie-un. You are the asshole. We made a deal.
That was before I realized that I hated every single name on her list.
Yeah, well.
The two that she was leaning toward the most, Elian and Gawain after the Knights of the Round Table.
Oh JFC,
those are cringe as hell, some Renfair cosplayer nonsense.
I feel like the lesson here is, get to know people better before putting babies in them.
The deal you made is terrible. Each parent should at least have veto power. You can't give a baby a name that its other parent absolutely hates.
That's just an awful thing to do.
But you did agree to it. I think names should be a double yes. You're in a pickle, though. Does she want veto power for baby number 2's name? Maybe that is your leverage.
You are the asshole.
So not only did you make a deal you're unwilling to honor, when you realized you had a problem with the deal, rather than asking to amend the deal, you decided to wait to see if fate would give you your way anyway.
Of course you're an AH.
Had you not waited, had you been forthright, like Gawain, you could have amended the deal in a fair way. It's not unreasonable to want a say, but you bargained at a way to have the right to deny her a say if it's a girl.
Utter ah. You are the asshole. First of all, this is a horrible way to pick a name. You should have made a list for both together, and avoided this entire situation.
But the way you have phrased the conversation makes you sound condescending and rude.
There are no normal names.
Just spell it like it's supposed to be spelled and no one will be able to complain. That said, at the end of the day, it's Mom's choice. You're not married, and I hate to be so cynical, but she should have a name she likes.
Her child is forever, your relationship is not.
You are the asshole for 1. Making a deal that you apparently only intended to keep if it resulted in you getting your way, and 2. For then delaying talking to her until you could see whether the deal worked out in your favor.
Elian is actually a pretty cool name too. It would be one thing if her name was so weird that it would hurt your kid, but Elian isn't that. It just doesn't fit your taste. You are the asshole, pretty cut and dry here.
You made an agreement, you don't get to back out just because it didn't work out for you. Kind of a trash move, to be honest.
I loved the irony of you saying she hated your names too, yet you would have went with one you liked.
See the hypocrisy?
Am I the asshole for telling my grandparents I won't attend family gatherings my half-siblings attend anymore? I, 16 male, have 3 older half-siblings from my mom's first marriage, ages 25, 26 and 28. We lost Mom last year. I live with my dad, who was their stepdad for like 19 years. They never accepted me or my dad. I always knew it deep down.
They kinda kept the peace for Mom when she was alive, but that was just not saying so much when she was alive, but still not really engaging with me or my dad. They'd visit Mom and have a very forced civility with the two of us. After she died, they made it very clear they did not appreciate my dad organizing things. They said Mom's true husband was their dad, and they were very smug when it came to light that Mom organized stuff herself and that she was intending to be buried with her first husband, my half-sibling's dad. They thought that meant they could tell us we weren't welcome at the funeral. It was also the first time in years they took glee in telling me I wasn't really their brother and I was just the second mistake Mom made after losing their dad. The first mistake being my dad. It became a huge deal, and at the funeral they actually said they were diving the side the immediate family would sit. Anyone on their side recognized essentially that my dad and I were mistakes Mom made and should not be there. A lot of Mom's family sided with my half-siblings, which stung. My half-siblings severed all ties to me and Dad. They have been clear they want nothing to do with us. My grandparents are the only maternal family who make the effort to include me still and be a part of my life. Aunts and uncles will speak to me, but some only do it to make excuses for my half-siblings or to mention Mom. There's a lot of family on my maternal side, and that comes with birthday parties and stuff. Whenever my half-siblings see me there, they make it clear I shouldn't attend. They have started yelling that the failed abortion shouldn't be there. A lot of the family stand by them. My grandparents normally try to calm them, and one aunt has called them out for treating me like shit when mom loved me too and I'm still their blood. It's too much for me, and now that some of them are married and having their own kids, it feels like if I keep being where they're at, I'm going to deal with things getting worse. So I told my grandparents I won't attend family gatherings that my half-siblings attend anymore. My grandparents were really upset and told me I need to keep coming because I'm family, and they said I can't punish them for my half-siblings' behavior. I said it feels like most people don't want me there and I don't like having to deal with the things they say about me.
I know my grandparents are mad and I get it.
But I feel like I need to put myself first.
Am I the asshole? Not the asshole. Never feel guilty about excising toxic people from your life, even if they are related. No one deserves to be called a failed abortion. If you want to see your grandparents, there is nothing wrong with sticking to small gatherings that you or your father organize. You do not have to go anywhere you feel unwelcome. Be polite when invited to functions that your half-siblings will attend, like, "I'm sorry, I have other plans. But I'd like to see you, can we get lunch together next week instead?" Not the asshole.
They said I can't punish them for my half-siblings' behavior. What's actually happening is your grandparents are punishing you for your half-siblings' behavior by trying to coerce you into situations where you'll be mistreated. That is not okay.
Not the asshole.
Visit your grandparents solo, not during family events.
There's no need to force yourself into miserable situations. You'll be much happier without that family in your life. Not the asshole.
If they cared for their mother like they said they did, they wouldn't hurt her by hurting you and your father. She clearly was involved in your life and cared for you, and by treating you like a mistake, they are actively disrespecting her memory and you as a person. You're right to set a boundary for how you want to be treated, especially by supposed adults.
Here's the thing about boundaries: you can only control your own behavior. Your grandparents won't enforce any healthy boundaries of their own, so they are actually punishing you. Removing yourself from that emotional minefield is pretty healthy emo. Not the asshole.
Not the asshole, your half-siblings' actions are beyond cruel and horrible.
At this point it's just evil. So don't expose yourself to their poison. What I don't get though, is why your maternal family is basically going along with their toxic behavior.
It's just bizarre.
Am I the asshole for refusing to replace a picture I posted with an edited version of it? My father's girlfriend is very active on social media. She usually makes at least 2 Instagram posts a day. I'm fairly certain she's trying to become an influencer.
While I don't care much for that, one thing I've noticed is that almost every picture she posts is photoshopped in some way. Sometimes she makes her waistline smaller, other times she airbrushes her face.
Sometimes, she does both.
I don't know how noticeable it is to other people, but both me and my husband can always tell.
My birthday was this weekend. I had a baby a few months ago and I haven't had time to do much.
So last week, my friends and family threw me a surprise party to celebrate both my birthday and my first year of being a mom.
I later made a post on Instagram thanking everyone, in which I included several pictures from the party.
A few hours later, my father called me to ask if I could add a picture that featured his girlfriend to the post I'd made.
I was frustrated, but deleted it and reposted it with a picture of me, my husband, our baby, my father and his girlfriend. It was the only one I had of her at the party. Hours after that, his girlfriend sent me a photoshopped version of the picture and asked if I could replace the one I posted. She had changed her waistline, retouched everyone's faces and whitened our teeth. I said no. While she's free to post whatever she wants on her socials, I don't want an obviously photoshopped picture on mine. She argued the picture I'd posted would clash with the ones on her page, and she didn't want her followers to see her like that. I reminded her that my account is private, and the only people who will see my post are friends and family who already know what she looks like. When she kept insisting, I told her that either she accepted the unedited picture or I'd remove it from the post entirely. My father wants me to humor her. He says it would take little to no effort on my part to replace the picture. I'm aware of that, I just don't want to do it. I didn't even want to include the picture in the first place, I only did it because they wanted me to. I'm busy this week, and dealing with this has become very annoying. Am I the asshole? Not the asshole. She's free to post whatever photoshopped version of reality she wants. But on yours, you can post the real photos, with her real thick waist and her yellow teeth.
It's your wall, not hers. It's private, so she doesn't have to worry about her followers seeing. Unless they are the handful of people who follow you both.
Not the asshole. She argued the picture I'd posted would clash with the ones on her page.
Yeah. Reality has a nasty habit of clashing with abject fantasy. Make sure you tag her.
Not the asshole, but your mistake here is giving in and posting the pic in the first place. If your dad wants her featured in pics of the event, he can post to his social media. It's not your job to further her influencer career. And honestly, if it's as bad as you describe, she won't succeed anyways. I would have a talk with your dad.
Set some boundaries and guidelines now, so if in the highly unlikely event she gets famous, you're not forced to help boost her posts, for free, I might add.
If I'm posting for you, I'm getting paid, lol.
Delete it and repost the picture cropped so she's not in it.
Problem solved.
Not the asshole. Tell her if she wants to die on this hill you will post the before and after or our Instagram reality and see which one people like more.
My father wants me to humor her.
BS. Take the photo down and tell him they are both being ridiculous and you are never going to post a photo that features her ever again due to this fiasco.